Hello everyone, today we are breaking down Season 4, Episode 1, What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger of The Witcher. But before that, remember to like the video, helps out the channel a lot, and subscribe, and yada yada yada, let's get to it. So the first thing we see is Geralt hunting down a Kikimora. This may look familiar to some because it's basically how Season 1 began. We see Geralt wearing the same armor as well, and we hear a man narrating what is happening. So the man is a storyteller and he is reading to the children of the village. Geralt's escapades are quite famous. People love hearing stories of the famous Witcher. We see Geralt take a potion which increases his strength and speed. A Kikimora is quite the dangerous foe, and Geralt wants to be prepared. He takes out the monster relatively quickly. We're back with the storyteller, done reading for the night when a girl tells him he told it wrong. She has a different account of the story by the bard himself, Jaskier. It's one of those things where stories get embellished over the years, and details change from different writers. Jaskier's version is probably closer to the truth, but he also has a flair for the dramatics as well. The girl and the storyteller go over Jaskier's book, and we get a bit of a recap of what has happened in the previous 3 seasons, which was nice. It has been 2 years since Season 3, it's hard to remember certain things. So we see Geralt meeting Ciri for the first time, the different battles and monsters they met along the way, and specifically what happened to Geralt last season. His fight with Vilgefortz, where he got his butt whooped and his leg broken. The girl shows an illustration at the end of the book to the storyteller, and she thinks that is of her, and that she plays a part in this story as well. The illustration is of Ciri speaking with the Lady of the Lake. Now how would that be her if this story has already occurred? I have no idea. But this girl will play a part in the story later on. All the storyteller says is that destiny is a funny thing, and he grabs the book and starts reading from where Season 3 left off. We're now with Geralt, Jaskier, and Milva. The 3 left the Brokilon forest after Geralt's wounds were healed to look for Ciri. Ciri is said to be in Nilfgaard and will be marrying Emperor Emhyr. So that is where Geralt and the crew will be heading. Nobody knows that Emhyr is actually Ciri's father, everyone just assumes he wants to marry her, so he can have the backing of the Cintra people. Ciri is the heir to Cintra, so with her on his side, things would be a bit easier for him in Cintra. Milva, since she is kind of a new character, was living with the Dryads last season. She helped Geralt when he was recovering from his injuries, and is now helping him find Ciri. The crew comes across some Havocars. Basically, they are people who loot the dead and sell their goods to people. Currently, there is a giant war across the continent, the Northern Kingdoms versus Nilfgaard, so there are plenty of dead bodies to loot. As Jaskier and Milva look over the carts for supplies, Geralt hears someone in the woods and goes to investigate. He sees a couple of dead Nilfgaardians, and looters try attacking him. Geralt takes them out relatively easily, but he grimaces when he knees one of them. Geralt broke his leg last season and is not healed all the way, even with Yennefer's magical assistance. So Geralt will continue to have problems with his leg. They go over the cart some more and they find a coffin, and someone is alive inside it. They open it and it is our old friend Cahir. So in Season 3, Cahir finds Ciri during the Thanad coup. He was tasked to capture her and bring her to Emhyr. But instead he abandons the mission and wants to atone for his actions, trying to kidnap her in Season 1 and the destruction of Cintra. He offers his life, but Ciri decides to spare him. Cahir then fights off the Scoia'tael, who are trying to capture Ciri, giving her and Geralt time to escape. With Cahir doing this, he is not on good terms with Nilfgaard, which is why he was tied up. Most likely they were bringing him back to Emhyr for punishment. Geralt still does not like the man and is going to kill him, but Jaskier and Milva ask him for mercy. Geralt decides to spare Cahir's life because Ciri did as well, but if he ever sees him again, he will kill him. We're now with Yennefer. She is looking for Vilgefortz, investigating areas where the mage was last seen. Vilgefortz is very dangerous. He basically destroyed the Brotherhood of Sorcerers in an attempt to capture Ciri. The Thanad coup last season was basically because of him. Yennefer knows that she needs to deal with Vilgefortz before he gets Ciri. We see Yennefer using portals to travel places, and she notices something strange with one. She grabs a weapon before going through, and she ends up in a place controlled by Nilfgaard. She takes out a soldier and grabs a horse and rides off. So Vilgefortz is messing with her here, making her job looking for him much harder, especially if she can't use portals. We're now with Ciri and the Rats. The Rats are an outlaw gang who saved Ciri last season. They also know her as Falka, because that is the name she gave them. That is the name of the ghost in the desert that wouldn't leave Ciri alone last season. The Rats run off from a tavern and we see Ciri stop in the street and start saying something in Elvish. She's trying to use magic, maybe to contact Yennefer, but nothing. While she was in the desert last season, she relinquished her powers in fear of them. So as of right now, she has no magical ability. We're now with Nilfgaard, with Emir talking to his small council. They are speaking of the new king of Redania, Radovid. Vizimir, his older brother, was murdered by Philippa Eilhart last season in hopes that Radovid would be more easy to control. Radovid is very upset about Jaskier leaving though. The two didn't leave on the best of terms after their romance. Skellen says he will continue to have his spies look at the northern kingdoms, but with Radovid in charge, the war should be over soon. This is Stefan Skellen. He is part of the Nilfgaard Secret Service and has a network of spies. A Nilfgaard soldier is here to meet with Emir as well. He tells him that Geralt spared his life to give Emir a message, that Geralt plans on murdering him. Emir does not seem bothered by this news. He is more annoyed with Vilgefortz, who said Geralt was dead. What else could the mage be lying about? He's currently sitting with fake Ciri as well, so maybe Emir will start having doubts about Vilgefortz and her. We're back with Geralt and he is treating his leg. He's dumping some kind of elixir on it, or a potion. It's hard to say if it's the ones he drinks to fight monsters or not. Either way, I assume it's helping with the pain. The group continues on their path when they meet a dwarf and a gnome. The dwarf is Zoltan. For those who play the games, you'll be familiar with him. And the gnome is Percival. The people on the cart behind them are just refugees from the war that is being raged all around. In the books, it is an entire company of dwarves, so it seems they cut back quite a bit here. Jaskier introduces their group to them as well and tells them about their plans, to the dismay of Geralt. This is a dangerous mission they are on, and he does not want more people knowing about it, because then they could tell other people about it. Zoltan says since they are heading in the same direction, maybe they could travel together for a bit. Safety in numbers, that sort of thing. Geralt says no. He wants to get to Ciri as quickly as possible and they will slow them down. Zoltan says they have food and Jaskier overrules Geralt and says yes, that they would love to travel with them. Geralt begrudgingly follows. We're back with Yennefer where there is an angry mob outside where the other mages are staying. There's a growing mistrust of mages, especially after the Thanedd coup in the northern kingdoms. Vilgefortz was the co-leader of the Brotherhood of Sorcerers alongside Tissaia de Vries, and he turned out to be a traitor. So of course a lot of people think that the other sorcerers are traitors as well. Kira Metz goes to let Yennefer in, but before Yennefer is about to enter, she sees Vilgefortz. She runs over to him, but it turns out it's just one of his disciples. He tells Yen to join Vilgefortz, but Yennefer refuses. Kira goes outside the gate to see where Yennefer ran off to, when one of the people in the crowd stabs her in the gut. Yennefer runs back over to see what the commotion is about, and one of the people in the crowd confronts Yennefer and says the exact same thing as the other guy, to join Vilgefortz. Yennefer grabs the gal and brings her in to question her. So the angry mob seems to have been incited by Vilgefortz. He wants the remaining mages, so Yennefer, Triss, and the rest, to join him. And with him causing all this negativity towards mages, he's leaving them little choice in the matter. They will have nowhere else to go. We're back with Ciri and the Rats. They're at a barn dance and we get a bit of a rundown on each character from Missel, who is the one speaking with Ciri. This is Reef. We see her snorting some dust. It is called Fizztech, basically it's cocaine. It can help with focus and some people use it before a fight or a battle. Reef used to fight for Nilfgaard and is very skilled with a blade. We then see Iskra and Gazeller dancing with one another. Iskra is an elf, as you can see, and Missel says that she is Wowo magic, which I have no idea what that means. Gazeller is the leader. He used to fight for one of the armies, but he's a deserter. Kaylee is described as being a prick, but he knows his way around explosives. Asa is more comfortable with horses than people, even more so after he lost his sister. Ciri asks about Missile. What about her? She says that she is the one she can trust. Ciri ponders this when Kaylee comes over and asks her to dance. Ciri agrees and hits the dance floor. Ciri actually smiles and looks like she's having a fun time. We're now with Radovid and the War Council of the Northern Kingdoms. Queen Maeve is leading it. And we also see a familiar face as well, King Foltest, who we saw in Season 1. He was the guy who was banging his sister, and his daughter became a Striga. Radovid is a bit lost here, he's a bit new to all this, and he wants to ask Dijkstra, but Maeve says no. She does not trust him, and she says the last time they let people in on their council was Tissaia de Vries, who was sleeping with a traitor, Vilgefortz. Everything will stay in-house. Dijkstra and Philippa are waiting in the hall as the War Council is taking place. Dijkstra is a bit cold towards Philippa after she murdered Vizimir last season. He blames her for what is happening. He also believes that she is the reason the northern rulers won't let him in on the council. As I said, mages are not really trusted right now, and with her being one, well, it doesn't help their case. Dijkstra is basically pushing Philippa out. He does not trust her and thinks she is a liability at this point. He will advise Radovid alone. And if she tries anything, he will tell Radovid about who murdered his brother. We're back with Yennefer and the rest of the mages, and it turns out that Kira was killed during that, which is kind of wild. The other mages there are Triss Merigold, Sabrina, and Margarita Loscintilla. Yennefer tells them about Vilgefortz trying to recruit her, and how portals are not working anymore. That he has somehow shut them down. They all have a lot of questions, and they're hoping to get answers from the gal Yennefer grabbed earlier. They have her tied up, but she won't give them any answers. So Yennefer decides to use a different tactic. One Stregobor used on her in Season 2. She's going to go into her mind. Basically, Yennefer is going to put her fingers on this girl's brain and search her thoughts. It is quite painful for the gal, and the others look in horror, but Yennefer is desperate and needs answers. We're back with the rats and Ciri. They're camping out. Ciri is sitting alone when Kaylee comes up to her. Kaylee knows that she is on the run, saying she has a bounty on her head. Ciri looks at him confused, like, is he trying to threaten her? Kaylee says of course not, and he makes a move to bet her. Missile comes over and puts a stop to it and tells him to bugger off. Ciri looks a bit uncomfortable about what happened. Missile starts talking to her, and then she makes a move. Ciri and her start making out, and it fades to black. So I guess they banged? They do in the books, so I just assume. We're back with Geralt, and he awakes from a nightmare. He immediately gets his horse ready. He wants to leave now. Jaskier and Milva want to know what happened. Why is he more in a hurry now? Geralt tells them of the dream he had. It was about Ciri. He basically saw the events that just happened. Her dancing and being happy and whatnot. The only issue is that Death was dancing with her. Geralt is worried about her. He's worried he can't save her. And he is stuck in these woods going at a snail's pace. Jaskier gets where Geralt is coming from and gets everyone to pack. They are heading out now. We're back with Yennefer. The torture is not really working though. Vilgefortz maybe put up some kind of protection on the girl so that Yennefer, or any other mage for that matter, can't read her thoughts. Yennefer and the other mages have one more idea. Yennefer looks through her mind one last time, but the other mages start channeling their power to Yennefer, hoping to break whatever barriers Vilgefortz put up. And I think it starts to work when Vilgefortz shuts it down and puppets the girl speaking through her. He asks Yennefer to join him again. Yennefer says no. Vilgefortz is done here, and to make sure Yennefer can't get any useful information from the girl, he blows up her brain. Yennefer is pissed about this. Triss says that they can't beat him. Yennefer insists they can, if they build an army of their own. So a group of mages that together with their combined strength can take on Vilgefortz and his disciples. Ciri awakes the next morning and stands in a body of water, trying to decide what to do. Missile informs her that the group is leaving. Ciri decides to travel with the group for a while. I think she's kind of running away from her destiny here. She's going to be Falca for a while. Being Ciri is hard, and she actually had some fun the night before. She just wants to do that for a little bit before she goes back to Destiny and world-ending events. We're back with Geralt and the crew. They come across a farmstead where a girl runs out saying they got the pox. This keeps the group away, not wanting to get that. As they travel, they see another group of men pull up. The girl says the same thing to them, but they don't care and they enter the house. Geralt and the rest know what they are up to. They're going to abuse that girl. Geralt will not have it and he heads towards the house. Geralt may be in a hurry to find Ciri, but he will not leave that fate to an innocent girl if he can help it. He saves the girl, making short work of the group of men, killing them all except one, who rides off. The group talks, then the man comes back. Turns out he was killed by someone else, Cahir, who has been following Geralt and the group this entire time. Geralt is not happy to see this. Cahir takes off, and Geralt and the rest of the group continue down the path. And that is the end of the episode. What did you think? Leave it down in the comments below. And if you want more Witcher content, please subscribe and like the video. Check out the Twitter link in the description below. And as always, have an awesome day.